Dan Larson here at the photo booth with some recent acquisitions. Excuse me, Skeleton Man. Shipped my Big Bad Toy Store pile of loot. By the way, if you ever want to figure out how to queue up getting arrival notices or getting pre-orders to get filled, especially with Big Bad Toy Store, and let me say up front, none of this is sponsored. This isn't sponsored by Big Bad Toy Store or anything. I just happen to shop there because I do like their pile of loot feature. And you know, with everything being bought online these days, I almost buy nothing in person anymore. I don't even bother looking anymore. Like if I happen to go to Target or Walmart or any other store, you know, obviously, yeah, I'm going to go down the toy aisle and check. I can't not. That's something I've been doing my entire life. But, you know, at this point, none of my local stores ever stock anything. If they do get anything in, whatever the, you know, one figure out of a wave is that I want, somebody's already picked it up, and, you know, resellers flipping stuff. And, or, you know, the more likely scenario for my area is that it's in the back. I'm not going to be the guy that's like, hey, can you go get that out back for me? I don't need it that bad. I just, to me, that's an embarrassing thing that I don't want to do. So usually what happens is they put it out like 6 or 9 months later. So if you know, if I'm looking for something that came out like just this week, I saw that they had out the Bad Batch wave that had like Omega and I think Echo, I think, was in that wave too. Like they had just put that wave out, and I was like, well, you know, if I had been looking for these, I more than likely would have already acquired them at some point because I got tired of waiting, and these figures are like a year old or whatever. So anyway, so the whole point was this is not sponsored. I just shop at Big Bad Toy Store. So if you're not familiar with what they do, you have a pile of loot, and you can basically just, when stuff comes in stock, you can have it added to your pile of loot. Other places do similar things, like there's, you know, your holding area, layaway, I don't know what they call it. There's different sites have different things where they basically just private storage, private warehouse, where you just sort of put it aside, and then you save on shipping, where you ship all your stuff at the same time. And that's what Big Bad Toy Store does. So what always happens is you wait and wait and wait and wait for stuff to come in stock. And for instance, one thing in this package has been in my pile of loot for like 2 months now, and I was just waiting for anything else to come into stock so that I could save on that shipping. And you know, of course, 2-3 things hit, and you go, all right, fine, I'm tired of waiting, I'm going to ship it now. So you ship it, and then the very next day you get a bunch more notices about stuff coming in stock. So as soon as I shipped this, literally the next day after I shipped this, I got notices for Classified, CoverGirl Classified, Crimson Bat, and I'm still waiting on my notification for regular Outback. And then I'll probably ship it again, just to get those 3 figures in hand. But anyway, let's get to opening this box up. So any recent acquisitions that I tend to have these days are going to be from online retailers, because I just don't get stuff in store anymore. I went to WonderCon 2 weekends ago and thought for sure I was going to buy a bunch of stuff there. In fact, I was hoping to write an article piece for Toy Collector magazine about my toy experience at WonderCon. And you know, while there was plenty of stuff there, I didn't buy anything. You know, like I was very focused on doing the job that I was there to do, which was to moderate a couple of panels for Toei Animation's live action Knights of the Zodiac. I almost said Knights of the Slice. Toy Pizza's Knights of the Slice. The Knights of the Zodiac, which is based on Saint Seiya. The movie's coming out in May. So I was so focused on the job that I didn't have a lot of time to walk the floor. But when I did, it was, you know, it was mostly the same stuff. It's like Marvel Legends, Black Series. It's like all the stuff that, like, it's okay. Okay, I either have the stuff I want already, or this is stuff that I can still order. You know, it's like I want to see some things I can't necessarily, you know, get right now, or, you know, not necessarily vintage, but like, you know, import stuff that just, I don't know, more indie stuff. I was disappointed with the amount of like Origins, Marvel Legends, you know, like just things that are supposed to be at Target and Walmart and whatever right now. Anyway, so I ended up not writing that and not getting a video out of it. I thought for sure I'd have like a recent acquisitions. I dropped like 150, 200 bucks on toys at WonderCon, and I just didn't. So that's more money for me to spend later on this year. I will have a schedule of shows that I'll be at for this summer into the fall. Hopefully coming soon. I don't want to say anything until the shows actually announce, so stay tuned for more. So the first thing in this box I'm going to take out here are a couple of pieces that aren't actually for me. They are for Mrs. Toy Galaxy. Please, don't anybody tell her about these. I think she knows I ordered them. I thought these were going to be out a long time ago. Like I'm pretty sure I had intended these to be Christmas presents last year. So Christmas 2022. What year are we in? 2022. And then they just showed up now. So these are from Plastic Meatball, indie toy producer there. She's a big fan of Labyrinth. So these are, your sort of vintage Star Wars, Super 7 reaction style 5 POA action figures. And I'd seen pictures of these, and just the Jareth himself. Got a little bit of oh, that's just paper. The Jareth, I didn't really, even as an interpretation, even as pretending to be a vintage action figure, I was like, I don't know about that face. I don't know if I really love that. But that's one of those things where she said, I love them and I want them, and so who am I to say that these aren't good enough for her? They're totally great. She loves them. Well, she will love them. She's seen the pictures. She hasn't actually seen the figures yet. So these, not sure if I'm going to give these to her now. If she's watching this video, then I'm definitely going to give them to her now. If not, then maybe I'll hold on to these for, I don't know, anniversary, birthday, Christmas, Easter, Halloween, Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day already passed, so we're not going to do that one. But, I'll get them. My main concern is I hope, I don't know the movie as well as she knows it. I hope there will be other figures on the other side of this. Obviously, Ludo would need to be a much bigger sort of deluxe piece. The little, oh, she's going to kill me. The little fox guy, his dog. There's definitely other characters. Obviously, you could do a couple more Jareths as well and some more goblins and all that stuff. But yeah, those are for her. She'll put those with, she's got some like Goonies reaction figures and some Rocky Horror reaction figures and lots of other things. Yeah, we're probably long overdue for a collection video from Mrs. Toy Galaxy. I'll have to talk to her about that, see if she wants to do that at some point. Even if it's me, here in the booth talking about her action figures and the things she collects. Okay, so next up here we have, this has been sitting in my pile of loot for like 2 months now. I'm very excited to get my hands on this one. Retro X-Men Spiral here. The funny thing about this is I didn't want Mojo, like at all. I don't want Mojo at all. There was a time where I definitely would have wanted to have had Mojo in my collection, but at this point, that's a large figure, it's expensive. What I ended up doing was I went in on the HasLab Sentinel, not the Sentinel, Galactus. I went in on the HasLab Galactus and ended up trading, because what I wanted was not Mojo, so I didn't bother with the single pack version that I think was at Target or whatever. I almost bought the 4-pack or whatever it was, the one that had Mojo, Longshot, Dazzler, and X-Babies, Wolverine or whatever it was. I almost went on that version. Instead, what I did was I got the HasLab Galactus and I traded Morg and Nova for Longshot and Dazzler. And then, because, I didn't like Morg. Nova in hand kind of disappointed me. I wasn't super impressed with her in hand, so I didn't mind trading that. And I definitely wanted that version of Dazzler and that version of Longshot more. So it's like, as far as Mojoverse is concerned, I absolutely wanted to have Spiral. I needed to have Longshot and Dazzler. But Mojo, I just was not the least bit interested in. The last Mojo figure I owned, I had the Toy Biz Build-A-Figure at some point. Sold that off years and years ago, and then before that, it would have just been the old '90s Toy Biz version, and that was on my shelf forever until I downgraded that collection substantially. This figure just from all the photos I've seen, from every video I've looked at of it, just looks absolutely incredible. So I'm very anxious to get this thing open and get those arms a-posing. Not sure about these swords. I don't care for these two swords, these two weapons that came with. I think they came with Angela originally. I don't love them as weapons for her. The swords I like. I wish she doesn't come with 6 katanas. But I've definitely got other katanas that I can use for her. I almost bought, I almost bought 6 12th scale katanas from Marauder Gunrunners, who have some 12th scale accessories. And I love their katanas. I use their katanas for Storm Shadow, for Snake Eyes, just any ninjas, anybody that needs a katana, I basically use those. I almost bought 6 of them just specifically for this figure. And I may still, we gotta see. Like, I don't, in the past, you know, the katanas, I'm assuming this is the same katana that came with like Deadpool and anybody else that needs a katana. And I don't know, sometimes they get bendy, they get flexy, and I just don't love them. But this figure looks absolutely gorgeous. I'm very anxious to get my hands on, you know what, we're standing here. What am I doing? Let's just cut this thing open while I'm talking. I keep, you know, handling it. Why not just get it open? I'm very, very anxious to see the engineering on these arms, because it looks amazing. And I don't think I ever owned the regular Toy Biz Marvel Legends version. Maybe at some point, but it, you know, it just did not impress me as a figure, so I never bothered to actually pick it up. This looks really, really fantastic, though. Her hair definitely hides that sort of extra bump from her, you know, additional shoulders. Very rubbery, very soft. I'm a little surprised by that. But otherwise, she looks really, really great. And yeah, definitely excited to see what kind of posing. I want to be careful with this arm feels a little tight. That's all right. Definitely anxious to see what kind of interesting poses, you know, I can pull off here with such an unusual anatomical structure. You know, these 6 arms and 2 legs and everything going on here. I think they've done a good job. Obviously, you're not going to get much pivot out of this neck because of the hair she has here, but I think the ab crunch here does more than enough to make up for that. And she's still got some, just a little bit of left to right, not much. But yeah, she looks fantastic. That's going to be a neat one. And I think she's got alternate hands, right? A couple alternate hands here. We got axe thing, gold sword, 4 katanas, and then, okay, so yeah, we have alternate open hand for the armored cybernetic arm, and then just, what is this, like an expressive hand for either of the 2 left arms. I mean, that's fine. Obviously, at this point, I did not expect that Hasbro was going to go, you know, 3 sets of hands for all 6 arms. Although they could have. I mean, why not? Just throw an extra $5 on the price or something. Give us a couple extra more hands. But this will be great because you know, the idea of posing her without her katanas in hands or some kinds of weapons in her hands, that's just unlikely to ever happen. more than likely, most of the time she's going to have some kind of weapons in her hands on the shelf. Next up, we have... This one is, if you follow David Fake Eyes on Twitter or Instagram, this is exclusively his fault. I absolutely was not. I am not collecting Masters of the Universe. You know, just very, very selective in which characters I'm going after. And that's usually characters that fall into like my sort of, you know, Hall of Fame. I'm a Clawful guy, I'm a Roboto guy, I'm a Buzz-Off guy, and so those are the ones that I'm really like, you know, I'll get those. And then depending on how I feel about the He-Man or Skeletor, I like the 40th anniversary He-Man, I grabbed that one. That is currently my shelf He-Man. And then Skeletor, I haven't bought a Skeletor since, I bought Origins 2000X Skeletor, but that's not like my main shelf Skeletor. My main shelf Skeletor currently, and I think you can see this in the wall video, my collection wall video that we posted a couple months back. My main shelf Skeletor is still Classics Filmation Skeletor with a custom cape on it, and then displayed with Classics Panther. Manny Faces, though, he's definitely another one that sort of falls into that like favorite figures from, you know, when I was a kid and all that stuff. So I do have my vintage original Manny Faces. I still have, and actually I brought it in here to compare. I still have 2000X Manny Faces, which I thought was a great upgrade at the time. Still captures the character, the look and the feel of the character. Obviously, I would have preferred even more articulation at the time. They didn't really add anything except for him being able to turn his head, which was a novel thing at the time. The vintage figure couldn't turn his head. And then I do still have, I brought this in as well, I've got classics. Manny Faces, who is nice, but, you know, this whole classics line is really, really starting to feel a bit dated at this point. The articulation at the time was good, not great. You know, ab crunch that doesn't really do anything, ankle pivot that does just about nothing. And then, you know, single jointed elbows and knees and whatnot. And then this, you know, the McFarlane almost-esque crotch here that, you know, limits you from actually being able to get them into any kind of sitting position is always disappointing. But I just love the concept, the look, the design behind Manny Faces. I absolutely pre-ordered the new Mythic Legions, whatever that guy's name is, the Manny Faces homage. I think that's actually still up for pre-order right now if you're watching this before the end of April 2023. So anyway, David Fake Eyes on Twitter and Instagram, fantastic photographer, just one of those people that you can just tell they're having fun and playing with their toys, and it's for their entertainment, and they just happen to be sharing it with us, and I appreciate it. And he's absolutely responsible for me deciding to get figures that I had not just not intended to get, that I had specifically looked at, considered, and said, no, I'm not going to get that figure. And then this guy comes out and posts all these really fun photographs and makes me reconsider and say, you know what, he's showing me this product in a different way, in a different light. And now I can't not get it. You know, like I want to have that, and that's what it is. It's you're just sort of chasing the fun. And look, I'm guessing I've done that to people over the years too, where they, you know, you didn't want a thing, and then you see somebody just having so much fun with a thing, and you say, hey, you know what? I want to have that same kind of fun, and you end up buying the thing. One of the things I really did like that really popped in David's photos was the metallic on this guy's pants. Some people think this is trunks and thigh highs. I'm calling it pants because if you have the waist part and you have the leg parts, well, then it's pants. Anybody else is just being, they're being ridiculous. So I really liked the metallic on this. You know, in previous versions, it hasn't had that same shiny metallic look to it. And that, for whatever reason, just really, really popped for me. And I don't know, all the weird things to sell me on a figure. The color of a guy's pants that hasn't really done it for me before. I don't think this turns. Does this not turn? Doesn't look like his head turns. I'm guessing we can have some turn there, but that's not really what I'm looking for. And then, okay, so that whole unit comes off because this one, okay, so we can rotate it. All right. And then it, just like the, oh, that's why it is. It's not gonna, the helmet clips in two spots here, so you're not gonna be able to turn that neck. That's a little disappointing. It doesn't make me regret buying it by any stretch of the imagination, but it does feel like a little bit of a step backward in terms of the expression technology. You know, two versions that could turn the head, and now we're back to a version that can't turn the head. But otherwise, I'm very excited about this figure. I'm very excited to get it into my photo booth, this one or my booth at home, and just start having some fun with this figure. Look at this giant blaster. It's his signature gun, and this one is huge. It's so huge, I'm having trouble getting it into his hand here. There we go. Dang, that's a blaster. He does have a couple of alternate hands here. So we got two closed fists. And then his suitcase. We've got his briefcase with some alternate faces to swap out. Looking forward to getting that skull one on him. It's, you know, this plays right into that, like, it feels like Zartan, you know, with the backpack and different masks, different characters he can become, carry those around with him. Just a lot of fun there. That's really exciting. So definitely going to shoot some more pictures of that guy. Don't forget to follow me at Toy Galaxy on Instagram if you are not already. I'm going to get this box out of the way here because there's only one thing left in it. Last up, I'm going to bring this guy back out. Last up is, and I don't want to get into a whole thing. I just did a skeleton video not that long ago, a couple of booth videos ago. Just did a whole, here's all the 6-inch skeletons that are out there. And in that video, I did specifically say, like, this isn't going to be the last time I talk about skeletons because there are more coming out this year. So currently you've got, or I've got, on the right here, whoops, this is the year of skeletons. On the right here is, oh man, it's like Soda Toys or So Toys Redemption Skeletons. I don't know what the actual name, Rabbit Toys brand of it is. Again, I got it off of Big Bad Toy Store. I don't know if anybody else is carrying them. Please note, this leather strap here, that does not come with the figure. I added that. This is just a belt. Whoops, didn't frame. That's a belt from a Mythic Legions figure. I just like the way it looks, so I strapped that around. He does come out with another one of these pads, so you can have 2 shoulder pads if you want to. This cape is also a custom cape that does not come with the figure. I added, you know, I'm actually going to take that off for right now. I'm going to leave the strap on though, because that's a little harder to get off. He does come with that sword. He does come with that shield. And he comes with 2 other smaller knives, 2 daggers. Doesn't really have a way to store them on the figure unless you want to put them in his crotch hole there or stick them in his rib cage, something like that. Over here we've got, this is the brand new, I mean that's brand new too, all 3 of these are brand new. This is the boss fight Epic Hacks skeletons that should be shipping now. Again, if you're watching this in April of 2023, should be shipping now. Wave 2 I think is due out later this year. This is the Barbarian. Wave 1 was like a Grim Reaper, Barbarian, Pirate, and like a gladiator, sort of, you know, with the gladiator helmet and boots and shield and all that sort of thing. All of this gear can be removed. Parts can be swapped. The skeletons are all different colors though, so they don't match. And then now we have the Cthulhu World skeletons. This is the soldier version. Oh, the Redemption skeleton also comes with, you can kind of see on his shield here where it's got a sort of jack-o'-lantern with a couple of knives crossed there. He also comes with a jack-o'-lantern alternate head. And I think there's 6 different skeletons in the Redemption line. Each one has a different skull head portrait. Each one has different themed weapons, and each one comes with a different jack-o'-lantern head. I totally forgot about that jack-o'-lantern head. I would have brought it. Oh, let's throw this guy into the mix here too. This is the Storm Collectibles. This is not new. These have been out for several years now. This is the Storm Collectibles Golden Axe skeletons. So this is, I think he comes with 1 or 2 other things. He's definitely got alternate feet, alternate hands. Actually, I can't remember if he comes with alternate hands, but he comes with an axe. And then, and his helmet's removable. All the gear's removable. This skeleton, those came in 2 packs. Came with alternate hands, sword, shield, and that's it. Articulated jaw. So this, once again, I think there's either 4 or 6 different skeletons in the Cthulhu World line. Once again, I bought them from Big Bad Toy Store. I don't know if anybody else carries them. But they're a 6-inch scale skeleton. And I didn't even know about these. Like, I had ordered the Redemption skeleton, got that in, did the video, and then I was online, and then either Collector 77 or I know D Amazing had a video on them. I had completely just didn't know about these. It completely passed me by. So, especially after doing that video with the other skeletons and knowing that there's at least 2 other articulated skeletons. This isn't even taped. I'm like trying to cut it apart. It's not even taped. Due out later this year. You got Fwoosh Toys. Skeletons are due out later this year. And then the Mattel. I'm going to throw the Mattel Masters of the Universe Origins skeletons in here as well in this sort of ongoing comparison, just for my own benefit, just to see how everything stacks up with each other. So this is the Barbarian skeleton. He's got a shield, couple of shoulder pads. These are horns for the helmet, a sword, and then I think this is, I'm not sure what that is. That might be like either a loincloth or a strap around the torso, because over here we have the actual belt and loincloth and a couple alternate hands. Or are these not? Oh, those are barely even twist-tied. Thank you, Kulu World, for using easily untied wire. Not a lot of figures coming with wire these days. I think, what, McFarlane might still have some? I don't know. It's been a while since I bought a McFarlane figure. I'm very curious to see how this stacks up specifically with the Redemption skeleton. Because they, the sculpt, the character, the expression on these definitely lends them more to one line or another. The Storm Collectibles skeleton on the left there, this one's definitely good for, Marvel Legends or Star Wars or whatever. The face is a bit cartoony. It's a bit, expressive, which is fine because it came from, Golden Axe, and these are bad guys, but, they are a little tall. They are more like a 7-inch scale, so they're a little tall for stuff. You can cheat it because it's a skeleton in most of your pictures. This is a more straight up, boss fight is a little bit more a straight up 6-inch skeleton. That facial portrait is a bit more just traditional skeleton, skull. Articulated jaw here as well. And then, but, thin bones on these two. Over here, the Redemption skeleton, this guy is chunky. And, I do like this look for like Mythic Legions, because those skeletons definitely have, just their regular skeletons, have that sort of chunkier bone structure as well. And that's sort of where this Kulu World one is coming in. So I'm curious to see how this stacks up with that. Again, you've got a very, very animated, very expressive face here. This reminds me of the skeletons that are in like Army of Darkness. This is so expressive. I can almost imagine, I can hear the voice, coming out of this thing. And just bone structure wise, it's like, the body is almost the same size as the Redemption skeleton, but the head is so much tinier. And I'm very curious to see, later this year, how all of these skeletons do stack up against each other, just in terms of articulation choices, expressiveness. Here you've got single joints on the Redemption skeleton. You do have double joints here on the Kulu World. This is just a straight rotation joint here up at the top, but then you've also got, the pivot here, whereas this is more of these are more of like a Revoltech almost style joint on the Redemption skeletons here. Redemption's got a point of articulation here at the top and bottom. Yeah, so there's a waist swivel at the bottom where the spine connects to the crotchal region there. And then you have a pivot and swivels there at the base of the rib cage. And then ball and socket hips here, and then single, again, these are like Revoltech joints, ankles. Boss fight is similar, single joint, but you've got the swivel and the pivot, swivel and pivot for all of those joints. And then, same here, these are almost exactly Revoltech joints. Here, yeah, double joints. And, for skeletons, you usually have to go with that thicker look to the bones, just to make them less fragile, to make them more durable. Boy, I am really concerned that knee is too tight. Not particularly excited about snapping that. Might have to wait until I can heat this up a little bit. Yeah, so we got alternate hands here. This sort of an open hand, and then the weapon holding hands. This is an interesting choice. This is like a bendy wire in the spine here. That concerns me. I don't love bendy wire at all. I just don't feel like that's going to last over time. Basing that on every other bendy sort of toy or figure I've ever owned, that stuff will, overuse is going to make that stuff split or crack. The sort of soft rubbery plastic is going to make that want to split as well. So interesting there. Definitely follow me on at Toy Galaxy on Instagram. I'll definitely be posting pictures of these and comparing one against the other. Height-wise, let me just get a quick check of height here. Oh, that knee, that's real tight. I think height-wise, right about the same. If I stand up Redemption here, Redemption's a little bit taller. And then Boss Fight's going to be a little shorter because it's a pretty straight up 6-inch. Oh, no, it's about the same size. And then, yeah, Storm's going to be much bigger because, well, I guess, yeah, you got here, it's 2.7 and 2.6 basically is how it shakes out. So anyway, those are the skeletons. That's my recent acquisitions. I actually have another box that should be arriving soon. Like I said, as soon as Outback, Classified Outback hits my pile of loot, I'll ship that. And then I'll have those 3 figures. But thank you for watching this and all our videos. Hit like, hit subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Thank you very much to those of you who already are. Make sure you head over to Secret Galaxy and subscribe there if you haven't already. Check out our Patreon at patreon.com/ToyGalaxy. And let me know in the comments down below what you've picked up recently, any recent acquisitions you have. Thanks. Later.